At night, a news reporter and her cameraman sneak into an abandoned sawmill. The reporter talks about a murder that happened there. As she enters a dark hallway, a man with a burned face appears and hits her with a weapon. The cameraman tries to run, but the man catches up and kills him. 3 days earlier, a group of college students are driving through the Appalachian Mountains in West Virginia. The group includes Allison, Chad, Chloe, Jason, Naomi, Chuck, Todd, Mike, and Mitch. While driving, they notice a beat-up pickup truck beside them. Two strange-looking men inside stare at them, making the girls uncomfortable. Later, the group stops at a gas station. Inside the store, Chad and Allison shop for beer and supplies. They see one of the men from the truck, Dale, awkwardly staring at Allison while holding a scythe. His friend Tucker is outside working on their truck. The students feel uneasy and quickly leave the store. Dale admits to Tucker that he's interested in Allison, but feels too self-conscious to talk to her. Tucker encourages him to be confident and try anyway. Dale approaches the group while smiling nervously and holding the scythe, just as Tucker told him to. His odd behavior scares them, and Chad threatens him. The group quickly leaves. On the way to their cabin, a police officer pulls over Tucker and Dale. Dale is wiping spilled beer off Tucker's pants when the officer approaches, causing confusion. The officer warns them that the area they're heading to has a dark past. He lets them go after pointing out their broken taillight. Later, Tucker and Dale arrive at their newly purchased vacation cabin near a lake. The place is run down and full of strange decorations like bones and old newspaper clippings on the wall. Despite the condition, they're excited to fix it up. That night, the college students set up their camp deep in the woods. While sitting around the fire, Chad tells him a local legend called the Memorial Day Massacre. According to him, years ago, a group of teenagers were attacked by a hillbilly killer in the same woods. Only one girl survived. Chad says the killer was never caught. To lighten the mood, the group decides to go skinny dipping in the lake. While everyone swims, Tucker and Dale are nearby fishing. Allison stays behind to gather her things, but Chad surprises her. He tries to flirt with her aggressively, and she pushes him away. Back at the lake, Allison climbs onto a rock to undress and join the others. She notices Tucker and Dale watching and screams. Startled, she slips and hits her head, falling into the water. Tucker and Dale panic. Dale jumps in and pulls her out. They put her in their boat to help her, but the rest of the students see this from a distance and think she is being kidnapped. The next morning, Allison wakes up in Tucker and Dale's cabin with a bandage on her head. Dale brings her pancakes, but when she screams in fear, he assumes she doesn't like them and offers to make bacon and eggs instead. Allison is confused but unharmed. Meanwhile, the rest of the students meet to discuss what to do. Chuck goes to find the police while the others try to rescue Allison. Jason sneaks close to the cabin but gets scared and backs off. Back at the cabin, Dale tells Allison about the accident at the lake. He explains that they tried to get her friend's attention, but they all ran away. He says they only brought her back to the cabin so she could recover and be picked up later. As Dale and Allison talk, they begin to connect. They play board games and talk about her studies in psychology. Dale tells her that people often judge him unfairly. She encourages him and says he's smarter than he thinks. Outside, Tucker starts sawing logs. He accidentally cuts into a beehive and bees swarm him, screaming in pain. He runs through the woods while waving his chainsaw. Mitch, one of the students, sees this and thinks Tucker is chasing him. Panicked, Mitch runs into the forest and accidentally impales himself on a sharp tree branch. After Mitch dies, the group finds his body and panics. Chad insists that Tucker and Dale are murderers. He refuses to call the police and convinces the others that they are in a battle for survival. Chuck has already gone to get help, so the rest prepare to confront the hillbillies. Meanwhile, Dale and Allison continue bonding. Dale explains that people often assume the worst about him because of how he looks. Allison tells him she wants to become a therapist to help people understand each other better. Outside, Jason and Chloe spy on the cabin. They hear Dale and Tucker talking about Allison, but take the conversation out of context. Dale says he wants a rematch with her, referring to the board game they played, but the others think he means something sinister. They assume the worst. Tucker prepares a message on a log to explain things to the group, but the students misinterpret it as a threat. Believing Allison is being forced to dig her own grave, Chad tells Todd to attack. As Dale and Allison dig a hole for an outhouse, Todd runs toward them with a wooden spear. Allison sees him and pushes Dale out of the way. She accidentally gets hit with a shovel Dale and falls unconscious. Dale lands in the pit, and Todd jumps in after him, accidentally impaling himself on the spear. Nearby, Mike tries to rescue Allison by tackling Tucker, but as he runs at him with a knife, he slips and falls headfirst into the wood chipper. Tucker tries to pull him out, but it's too late. Blood sprays everywhere. Inside, Dale cries while trying to figure out what's happening. Tucker thinks the students are part of a suicide cult. Dale suggests calling the police, but Tucker warns that they'll look like murderers. They agree to stay quiet for now. Chuck arrives with the sheriff. Chloe frantically tells him what's been happening, and they drive to the cabin. Just as Dale and Tucker are dragging the body out of the wood chipper, the sheriff pulls up. Dale and Tucker try to explain, saying that the college kids are killing themselves. They insist Allison can clear things up. The sheriff enters the cabin and sees Allison, who is still unconscious but unharmed. As the sheriff examines the cabin, he leans on a loose beam. A piece of wood with nails falls and strikes him in the head. He stumbles outside and dies just beside his patrol car. Chuck grabs the sheriff's gun, but doesn't know how to use it. As he fumbles with the trigger, he accidentally shoots himself in the face. Chad suddenly appears, grabs the gun, and fires at Tucker and Dale, forcing them to retreat inside. Inside, Tucker blames Dale for being too soft. In the middle of their argument, Dale yells that he hates fishing. Tucker is shocked, but Dale apologizes. Before they can continue, they hear their dog Jangers whimpering outside. Dale peeks through the window and sees Chad holding the dog hostage. Tucker tells Dale to cover him with a nail gun while he sneaks out to save the dog. Dale shoots at the group to distract them while Tucker sneaks around. Chad runs out of bullets, and Tucker manages to free Jangers. But as he escapes, the students catch him. Chad knocks him out and takes him away. Later, Dale and Allison talk after she regains consciousness. She finds a cloth bundle with something inside. Dale opens it and finds 2 of Tucker's fingers, along with a note daring him to come and get his friend. Dale prepares to leave, but Allison stops him. She explains that her friends only saw him and Tucker as scary strangers. Dale feels defeated, but decides to go anyway. In the woods, Dale follows a trail and finds Tucker tied up in a tree. He warns Dale about a trap just in time. A spear shoots out, narrowly missing him. Dale cuts Tucker down, and they return to the cabin. Back at the cabin, Chad and Naomi sneak in. Allison tries to explain everything to them, but Chad pours gasoline around the cabin. He refuses to listen and accuses her of siding with the enemy. Naomi suggests Allison has Stockholm Syndrome. Chad raises his axe to attack, but Dale and Tucker burst in. Before a fight breaks out, Allison suggests they sit and talk. She pours tea while trying to calm everyone down. Chad warns he can't drink chamomile due to his asthma, and she assures him it's Earl Grey. Allison asks Chad to share his story. He reveals that his mother was the only survivor of the Memorial Day massacre and was pregnant with him at the time. His father was burned alive by hillbillies. Jason and Chloe arrive outside and look in through a window. They're confused to see everyone sitting calmly at a table. Suddenly, Jason bursts in with a weed trimmer, aiming for Tucker. Tucker ducks, and Naomi is hit instead. Chad flips the table and attacks Dale. When Allison tries to stop him, he hits her. Tucker punches Chad to protect her. Chad throws a lantern onto the floor, which ignites the spilled gasoline. Jason catches fire. Chloe tries to help by throwing water from a jar, but it turns out to be more gasoline. The flames engulf Jason, and the cabin catches fire. Tucker, Dale, and Allison escape as the building explodes. Chad emerges from the flames with part of his face burned. Breathing heavily through his inhaler, he screams. Tucker, Dale, and Allison flee into the woods and find Tucker's pickup truck. They get in and drive, but crash into a tree. Dale wakes up to find Tucker injured in the back seat. Tucker tells him that Chad took Allison and went to the old sawmill. Dale blames himself for everything and thinks he's not good enough to save her. Tucker reminds him of a time when they were kids catching frogs. Dale thought he caught fewer frogs, but Tucker admits Dale actually caught him. He tells Dale that he's always underestimated himself and encourages him to believe he's better than he thinks. With renewed determination, Dale gears up. He takes Jangers with him and heads to the sawmill. There, Chad has tied Allison to a support beam. He tries to force her to love him, claiming he's saving her from becoming like the Hillbillies. Dale sneaks into the sawmill and starts searching for her. Chad sees him and activates the saw bench, sending a spinning blade toward Allison. Dale rushes to free her while dodging Chad's attacks. The two fight across the sawmill, exchanging blows with tools and weapons. Dale manages to throw a chainsaw at Chad, distracting him. He and Allison run upstairs and barricade themselves. As they look for something to defend themselves, they find a newspaper clipping. It reveals that one of the hillbillies involved in the Memorial Day massacre was Chad's actual father, not the man his mother married. When Chad bursts in, Dale shows him the article and tells him the truth. Chad doesn't believe it. He becomes more enraged and moves toward them. In desperation, Dale throws a box of chamomile tea at Chad, triggering an asthma attack. Chad gasps for air and stumbles backward. He falls out of a window and drops several feet to the ground. Dale and Allison watch as he lies still, unconscious. 3 days later, police and news reporters arrive at the burned remains of Tucker in Dale's cabin. The reporter explains that all signs point to a violent encounter and a series of student suicides. The authorities believe that Chad, who hasn't been found, is the killer. At the hospital, Tucker recovers from his injuries. Dale visits him and brings him a beer. Tucker reveals that doctors reattached his fingers, but one of them clearly belonged to a woman. It has red nail polish. Later, Dale takes Allison bowling. He brings her a pink helmet to protect her from another head injury. He struggles to tell her how he feels, but before he can finish, she kisses him. She says she feels the same way. Nearby, another hillbilly watches some girls and thinks about approaching them. Dale encourages him, just like Tucker once encouraged Dale. The man walks over, but the girls scream as soon as he speaks. Dale and Allison continue bowling together, finally happy and safe. And that's the end of the story.